ejections, overtime battles, and ref controversies. All that up next on Drew League Weekly.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
We got the music back.
We're back.
Yes.
We're back.
Yes.
Welcome to AFTERBUZZ Sports. This week we are Drew League Weekly. That's what we're talking about, the best pro-am in the country, where you can see the top high school, college, and NBA and overseas prospects all on one court. Only place in the nation. I am your host, Jill Munroe, and of course I'm not alone. I got the guys with me, the crew.
What's up, guys? I'm Josh Rodriguez. You can follow me on Twitter, on Instagram at Josh_Rodriguez_DeAnjilo. Where can they find you?
What it do? You know my name is DeAnjilo. You can hit me up on Twitter at DeAnjilo TV and at DeAnjilo on Instagram. I appreciate the hand claps. You know,
Right, the
Makes me feel
applause.
Shout out to
special.
Ronnie in the booth. Ronnie in the booth, ladies and
Shout
gentlemen.
out to Ronnie.
We
in the booth.
missed you last week.
You missed me last
man.
week? Oh, you guys can follow me at Stiletto Jill everywhere. Check in.
That seat's hot. It's hot over
It's
there.
the hot
man.
seat?
Yeah,
I know, I
don't want it
saw
no
it.
more. I can't handle the pressure.
You did fine. I watched the show. I was like, oh, they're thriving without me. I
We're a
miss
team.
it.
We're a nice
do.
team.
Utility
We are.
players.
Pick it up.
You know?
Yes, we do.
So we know that you guys think that we're a nice team and that you are here to talk about the Drew League and, of course, a little NBA offseason action. We're going to get
Yes.
to that.
Please.
So much to discuss in Drew League Week 3. Now, as you know, we go out every week to check out the Drew League, and we have our game of the week. It may not be your game of the week, but it's our game of the week.
Tell 'em.
I mean, I just had to let you know, last week we took a break for the 4th
Yep.
of July holiday, you know, celebrating the birth of our nation or just getting drunk, whatever your mood of preference was on that day.
Or sleeping.
Sleeping, relaxing, all of that. So we're going to talk about the Bulldogs versus Ascension. And we were warned from the gate that this was going to be a very
Fiery.
physical, fiery contest.
Yeah.
And it lived up to that. You know, there was tempers flaring, complaints about the ref, and we even had double text on Big 50 Tyson, who obviously is a panel favorite.
He's the star of our show.
He really is.
had a great
If you
game.
guys
He
have
had a
never
great
been
game.
to the Drew League, you need to check out Big 50 Tyson. He's a large man with long locks, and he's on the floor putting in work. Not only will he take it back behind a three, sometimes ill-advised. You know, on occasion, at times.
Not
but he-
this past game.
Not
No,
this
he
past
was
game.
awesome. He was awesome.
They
He
all
was
were
in there
awesome.
doing work, and a guy that was on Ascension, was it Ascension that he
Yeah.
was on? The body snatcher, number 11,
Oh, yeah.
who was a big-bodied guy that was in there doing work. Shashap. He was inside.
Nice sound effect.
You know?
Do we have a shashap sound effect, Ronnie? I don't think we do.
I don't think that we
We
do.
need to have one. Let's
we
get
need to
that.
have a
Get
shashap.
that.
I want to loop that though.
You gotta loop that in, loop
Using
that
it
in.
in my sentences.
Okay. So Ascension led most of the first half, but the Bulldogs refused to back down. So when we got to halftime, it was a 38-31 lead. I know that sounds a little far apart, but it actually was closer than what it was, especially with all the physical play. Tempers were flaring. The trash talk got started early, even though the game became a little one-sided with the Bulldogs going up. But what were your impressions from that game? I felt like it was
obviously
embodied the
physical,
Drew
but
League.
I mean, from what we were being told on the sideline from Keon, actually, is that they actually were friends. Like, there were some people on opposite sides of the teams that were friends. So at first I thought it was like some friendly banter. I mean, you trash talk to your friends all the time, but as you can see, it got like very heated.
Yeah.
Like extremely
I think the
heated.
refs had a hard time maintaining it too, and I know when I play my friends, there's more trash talking. Like it gets more heated
Yes.
because that's family. But I think that played into the Bulldogs' hand because they do that every week, and I
Right.
feel like that's why they started to pull away because that's their comfort zone.
And then from a basketball perspective, no one on Ascension wanted to shoot the basketball.
They didn't
Like
have any
they just
shooters.
did not shoot.
Yeah.
We saw some guy just get a pass, open in the corner, did nothing. Like
Yeah.
literally just stood there with
He
the
just stood
ball,
there.
took a dribble, and then just passed it. He was
Yeah.
wide open for about 3 or 4 seconds, and that's an eternity in basketball.
Right.
They just didn't want to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
I just think the Bulldogs were a better team. They're a more physical team, and then Ascension probably just got a little frustrated and started picking at them a little bit.
They want to be a little silky smooth. That's what I'm trying to get out. Just kind of play their game, not get too dirty and roughed up. So as I said, the ref was apparently a newer ref, and he ended up throwing both 50 and body snatcher out of the game. And let's be clear, they hung out on the sidelines because they wanted to maybe have a word with the ref once the game was over.
Well, 50 left, right?
50 left, but he came back.
Oh,
Yeah, he
okay.
did.
He did came
Both
back.
of them kind of chilled for a little
They
bit.
chilled, watching to see what their team will do. Ultimately, the player of the game was for the Bulldogs, Speedy Blackman. He had a triple-double.
Yep.
Messed around and got
all
a
the sauce,
triple-double.
10 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds. And naturally, we always talk to the player of the game afterwards. So DeAnjilo got the scoop from Speedy on how he finessed his play in a very physical matchup. So we're going to watch that clip now.
They call him Speedy. They just beat down the essentials. You represent the Bulldogs. You got a triple-double, man. First, how you feel about that, first of all?
I feel real good because I know it's real hard to get a triple-double. I see LeBron get triple-doubles on a regular like it's nothing, but I know it's really hard getting a triple-double.
10 boards, man. Like,
Comparing himself to LeBron. That's always good.
My cousin, Big 50, always on me about not rebounding. I need some help. So this game I was in there. And the last game I had played terrible.
you know, every time I come and see y'all play the Bulldogs, y'all are yapping, y'all real fiery. What makes y'all team like that?
The egos, man. Everybody think, at some point in time, everybody was a leader for their team, so they feel like that's what it is when it comes to each other. So that's probably what it is. But we all good though, even when we argue.
So you're down here at the Drew League. How long have you been a part of it?
Since 2010, I think.
What brings you down here?
I'm from here, but my cousin convinced me to play in it. So I just play with him all the time. I've been playing with the Bulldogs ever since.
When we come down here, we see athletes, we see high school recruits, we see guys in college. What can you say about the competition down here?
The competition is good. Most competition that you play against here they're either gonna be above you or just at your level. Not too many are gonna be under you.
And so what people who may not see a lot of Drew League games, may not see you, what can you say about your game? What does your game represent?
My game represents everything I've been through. The tough times I done had, and I play with a passion every time.
What would you say is your comparison, your style, player that really resembles you?
I can say Allen Iverson.
AI.
Yeah, I like AI. My favorite player is
Speedy's
Kobe
game
Bryant.
remind you of AI?
No.
I had to resume my game.
Speedy's aiming high.
No
This man
disrespect.
Speedy,
But
Mr. Triple-Double too. Got 10 boards, 11 assists. They beat down. The Bulldogs won another game. So thanks for joining us, man. Good luck with the rest of the season. All right,
He got that AI confidence. I give him that.
I mean, confidence is everything. And then if you have your cousin is 50 Tyson encouraging you on, making sure that you go hard in the paint or you're going to have to deal with him,
Hey, it worked. He got, 10
did.
boards, They won by 19 points. What was it, 78-59?
Smashed them.
Yeah, they smashed them. So it was a lot of people that could have been, I feel like, player of the game, but it was pretty even across the board for them.
but shout out to Speedy. I didn't mean that in any disrespectful way.
No. We weren't taking
Just
it
Allen
disrespectful.
Iverson's more of a volume shooter. I thought Speedy was more of a team player. He kind of flowed within the offense more than Allen Iverson. Iverson would just take the ball and do whatever he can and shot
And run it
25, 30 shots a game. That's not Speedy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Speedy, no disrespect. I wasn't disrespecting you.
No. I didn't take it as disrespect.
I'm just saying.
Josh just wants to be clear. No beef. I'm giving a basketball
He said I play like Allen Iverson, and I was like,
asked
no.
him for an NBA comparison.
No,
you know?
that's
He's a little
understandable.
guy. He's quick. I mean, I think that's what he was
Understandable.
thinking. Yeah.
So speaking of NBA, of course, there were return of NBA players to the Drew League this weekend.
Yeah.
Freshly minted Nick Young,
Yeah.
new Golden State Warrior. Laker
Nice.
fans shed a tear.
He
Say
was down
goodbye
there
to
the same
Swaggy
day.
Shed a tear,
the same
celebrate. You
day
don't want him on the team,
that
sorry.
news broke too. On Saturday, he was down there at the
Well,
Drew League.
that's
the
right, he
same
was. We
day
saw him.
That the news broke that he signed to the Warriors.
Yeah, so he
You
did
think
a
that
little
Laker
double
fans
thing.
are upset though? Actually.
No.
Can't be.
I think that Swaggy P served his time here. He also played for the Clippers.
Served his time like it was a
I
prison
think
sentence.
he's,
beneficial
it
time
was a
to-
mutually beneficial thing. He had his Hollywood relationship, then that didn't work out because things happen.
Yeah.
And so, he's taking his cornrows and the swagisms up north to try and get a ring.
Try
Try.
to get it
Yeah,
right.
there's that's some doubt. There's
Listen,
some doubt.
anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Okay.
So he was on the team MHP, Most Hated Players, with DeMar DeRozan. And so, as I said, there was a lot of ref controversies this weekend. And this was actually Sunday's game. And it was a close one that MHP ended up losing to Hometown Favorites. We've covered Hometown Favorites before. Shout out to
Good
them
team.
and their staff,
Yeah, good team.
their team. But DeMar DeRozan lost his cool a little bit. We talk about passion in
Yeah.
the Drew League and how we're really involved. DeMar ended up throwing a ball at the ref's head. We have the clip, so of course, we got to check it out. I know you guys want to see it. Check it out. He didn't like the call. He's popping off. And you see the ref right there kind of move. He threw the ref right in his head. The ref kind of dodged it.
Did he give him a T?
You know.
No.
This is what went down. So DeMar kept jawing at the ref after the play, and he continued to do so after the final buzzer, after he made his way to the locker room. His team is 2-5 so far this season, so it's not looking good. They're in their last place in the division. You know, obviously they want to make it to the upper echelons, the playoffs and semis to try and go for a title. I guess he's working through some little extra aggression. He didn't like the call. He wasn't feeling it. Shout out to, no, that's not GoldenNet basketball. That was someone else that gave us that clip. Their logo's there. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. You know, he's working hard. He maybe he's thinking about how they're going to maintain the season and actually compete with the Cavs.
I don't think he's thinking about the Cavs and Celtics.
He's a competitor, and I think that just speaks to how that these guys care about the game. I mean, that's all that really represents. I mean, it was the end of the game. Who knows, like, what was actually said before that? But I think that should just speak to how competitive these Drew League games are.
Also, he's an NBA All-Star, so you better. I mean, I feel like you should win. You're on the court with a bunch of people who aren't even in your league.
Right.
So you're going in there thinking, all right, 40, 50 easy. Right. And I don't even think that's hyperbole. Like, he can absolutely get 40 or 50 easy in the Drew League. So I think when he goes in, and we saw a game previous week before that, and he got smashed.
Yeah.
So that's 2 straight losses for teams that he's been on. He's from Compton. On top of that, so he's playing in front of like hometown friends, family, things like that. I think it just got to him. I mean, if I was an NBA player, if I was an NBA All-Star, and I'm coming back to a league where, no offense to the people playing in the Drew, but they're not all NBA players,
right?
You know, and
Step
I'm losing.
your teammates up, DeMar. What's going on?
It's
hated players, and nobody's got that.
I think Young's on that team too, right?
I mean, and then we also
got 2.
And they were both on the court together. No NBA players on the other hometown favorites.
So that says a lot.
That shows the competition of the Drew League. But then at the same time, I forgot what I was going to say. What was I going to say?
What's
my train of thought?
That that DeMar's passionate and he didn't mean it, and it's okay that he threw the ball at the ref's head.
Yeah, we'll just go with that.
We're gonna go with that.
I like that. That's a good one.
Okay, sounds good to me. So moving on, we have a dunk of the week. It's from Frank Nitti, who was the 2016 co-MVP. He plays on Birdie's Revenge. Now, this is the rapper The Game's team, and you know Birdie's Revenge. That name is taken for one of my favorite movies, Above the Rim. Tupac's role is Birdie. Anyway, shout out to Pac. Let's check out the dunk. It was definitely a rim snatcher. You know, he's familiar with these.
Nice.
You know, yeah. I'm trying. So we can go ahead, Ronnie, and roll that clip. Don't jump, young man. Don't jump.
He stared at him too, right after.
Damn. I mean, did you see how calm?
Like, oh my God,
man, what is wrong with you? Ronnie, can you run that back if it's possible?
He was verbally calm, but his eyes said everything. That's
right, we want to see that one more time.
Can you run that back?
That's what you got to do. You got to stare at him right after you did it and not say nothing. You got to just stare at him and just be like, yeah, that's what happened.
That's what I did.
That's
what I did.
Damn.
And you see the game all up in his face, egging him on. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at that one more time.
Yeah, see that stare? See, that's important. That makes the dunk better than it actually was. Just staring at him. Yeah.
Look, and he just side-eye like, I did that. All in the eyes.
Don't say nothing. Don't show a facial expression. Just look at him. Ask him how their day was right after that.
We saw a dope dunk. What dunk did we see?
Yeah, number 11 on
what was his name? I forgot his name.
He is great athlete. Everyone there was like, "Who is that?"
Yeah, he was wasn't he on Hometown Favorites? That was his first time playing.
Yeah,
or the game before that, right in between.
Yeah, it was the game before the Bulldogs game against Ascension, and he number 11 on that team. He was uber athletic. Yeah, he was, and everyone there. That's what's funny. Everyone there, the people, Keon, the interview with the writer that we'll have, they all were like, "Who is that?" Like they didn't even know who he was. So he's a new face.
Yeah, if Keon don't know him.
Yeah, then that's empty because Keon trained everybody.
The key to the city.
Yeah.
So next up, really quick, we're going to talk to Aaron Williams. Aaron is the social media guru for the Drew League.
He's a character.
He is definitely a character. I heard he's not too great on the court on his own, but we won't talk about that. But he definitely keeps the timeline popping on Twitter along with the Snapchat for the Drew League. You guys should definitely make sure that you follow those.
And who's the pretty host?
The pretty host interviewing them. I think that's a young lady by the name of Jill Munroe. You know, a little something light. So check.
PYT. Okay.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! Accolades on the air.
Sports show anymore?
It's always a sports show. It's just sometimes, little beauty graces the timeline. We like that, right?
Jill is always shutting it down. Shout out to your outfit right now, too.
Holla, Jill.
I'm cute tonight. Saturday, we'll work on it. But we talked to Aaron about the league, actually, how he keeps people entertained on the timeline. He also gave us a look into who are the teams that we should be looking out for the rest of the season. We're at week 7. So we want to check in with him and hear what he had to say. He gave us a lot to talk about, as well as look at some highlights. So. I'm Jill Munroe. We're live at the Drew League for AfterBuzz Sports, and we are here with the social media heartbeat of the Drew, Aaron Williams. Hi, Aaron. How are you today?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing pretty good.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the vibe that goes on at the Drew League. You keep the pace. Everybody's looking to you with your tweets and the social media. What's different about actually being here and what you put out?
I think that I can't really compress everything that's being done in the gym into little 140 character sentences. And more than that, I don't really want to overload people's timelines with stuff. I just want to say just enough to give them like the meanest case of FOMO ever, so that they'll want to come to the gym, because nobody in the gym is checking.
Look at the kids
like,
with the hoops.
People outside are checking.
The meanest case of FOMO.
See that and say, oh, I gotta get in here, so I'll get in a highlight, or I'll tell a little story, or I'll
look at DeRozan mixing him up. About giving people FOMO, what are they missing out on today? Like, what would you say the best moments today so far have been?
You miss out on the details. Like, I can give you a play-by-play, but you're not going to get 50's face when he hits the shot, and you can't hear the trash talk. You're not going to hear the music that's being played and selected. DJ Youngfree does a great job of selecting sound bites that fit the situation. If someone does something silly, he has a sound clip for that. If somebody does something nasty, he's got something for that. He's got player-specific sound clips where there are so many little elements that make it what it is and make it an experience that has to be experienced. And all I can do is just tell you what's happening on the court and tell you, hey, that face, you should have been here for that face. That moment, you should have been here for that moment. That look, you should have been here for that look. You should be here for the sound effects, for the music, and for the Drew Aid.
The Drew Aid especially. So what are the shout out to the Drew Aid that everybody should be looking out for?
Good.
I think that everybody should be watching out for Houdini's Problems, because Houdini's Problems is one of those teams that is just so nasty and consistent, and they walk into every game and they play every game like it's the first and it's the last game they're ever going to play, so they leave it all out on the floor, and they just play punishing, crushing defense, and that's like the driving force behind their undefeated success in the season so far.
I don't see much defense. And defense at the Drew League doesn't happen often, right?
Don't let anybody lie to you about that. Excuse you.
Okay, so Drew League has defensive prowess as well as the dunks and the highlights. So we got Houdini's Problems. What are the other two teams we need to be looking out for?
I would say that you got to look out for BB4O, because BB4O was the champs last year.
I don't think we checked out BB4O play yet.
They are extremely dangerous, and they can be like ruthlessly efficient when they want to be. And again, they're one of those lockdown defensive teams. The Ware brothers will hunt for turnovers on the outskirts, and they can get into situations where you'll be trapped.
See a comeback. Okay, so that's 2. What's the third team? Pressure's on.
They don't look like a whole lot right now, but LA Unified was the champions 2 years ago, because they had secret weapon James Harden come out. He was unable to make all the games in the playoffs last year. If he shows up and makes all the playoff games this year,
with his $228 million extension he just signed,
he's going to be next to impossible for anybody to contain or to beat. So you'll have to find a way to beat the other players on their team. And that's really hard to do because they have really great players in Brandon Bowman, Dejon Thompson, Scott Cutley, Bobby Brown, and Pooh Jeter. And then, of course, this year they also had Marvin Bagley come out, and if he comes out again, that's another really big body that's capable of scoring a lot of buckets at a very fast clip.
Well, there you have it, straight from the social media guru here at the Drew League. Thanks for checking us out. We'll see you next time.
We actually saw LA Unified beat DeRozan's team, not this week, but the week before that. DeAnjilo and I were there.
Yeah.
See, and Bobby Brown actually plays for the Houston Rockets, so
he can pull from anywhere.
He can from the three. He's played in China overseas, was a champion over there. So we actually talked to him. So we'll have that interview coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when we go to the Drew, we're always on the lookout for those fashion-forward individuals that are in the area, looking special, looking hot, bringing their own flavor to the Drew League. So DeAnjilo is always scanning the crowd. So if you're at the Drew League, make sure that you're looking fly. And if you spot us and we don't see you, flag us down so we can, dip in the sauce. We like sauce. Ragu.
I do like sauce.
See? So naturally, DeAnjilo got with one of the players actually this time, Eric Williams. He was chilling on the sideline. He plays for LA Loop, which was Keon Kindred, one of Keon's teams. We talked to Coach Keon a couple weeks ago. And DeAnjilo got a little bit of information from Eric about his flavor, about what it's like to play in the Drew, and how he puts his little flyness together, right? A little bit. So we're going to check that out.
So we're live here at the Drew League, and we got, it's not too often I'm going to give somebody credit for outdressing me. We got Eric Williams here. You're looking pretty fly. Can you tell everybody what you got on today? What's the look?
I'm just shop. Basically, I love fashion. I picked it up a lot when I played out in Australia. Okay. It's not expensive. I shop at Forever 21, H&M.
Shout out to F21 and H&M.
Like different colors. Sometimes I might have a red hat on with green jeans, or red shoes with green or black. I love the olive green. I see you got it on. You feel me?
It's a good color.
Fly color. Yeah, that's it.
Nice summer fashion color. I like that.
You also play here at the Drew League as well.
Absolutely.
What's brought you down to want to participate?
Not brought me down. Shit, I feel like the Drew League bring you up. Like the local talent is great here. Now that the NBA players are really into it, Nike picked it up and sponsored it. It's amazing talent. It's some of the best talent in the world that come out and play. Really, So if you ain't bring your A game, they're gonna kick you out of the gym, basically.
We heard that. I've heard that NBA players, they gotta bring it too. If not, they getting called out. Why is the culture like that? What makes it like that?
I mean, don't just take it easy when you come here. You can't think that you can take it easy, because since you got a big name, we want to take your name from you. And the Drew, all the locals. We got great local players that actually can play on some of the top levels around the world, So,
JaVale McGee.
And might not be able to see your game. What's your game like? What do you bring on the
a lot of energy. I'm a mismatch for a lot of people. I can play inside, I can play outside, I can shoot the ball, put it on the floor a little bit, and I'm a tough matchup with my energy, rebound. I can pretty much do it all.
So you played abroad, you played in college, and you play here at the Drew League. What's the competition like comparatively to each type of league?
I feel like overseas it's kind of tough, because you might end up on a team where you're the only American, or you might be two Americans only, and they still want you to score 25, 30 points a game with a double team or triple team on you. But Drew League, far as being ISO'd one-on-one, it really shows your defensive skills, one-on-one skills, and you got to be able to hold your own in the Drew. It's the top talent in the world. It's America. But overseas, it's definitely tough at times. If you can't say, it's a lot. I've seen NBA guys go overseas, or top college guys go overseas and can't hold their own and get sent home.
That makes sense. So, all right, back to fashion now. Yeah. What does having a clean fit do for you? Why is that something that kind of why do you come out and do that?
I feel like it's comfortable. I like looking nice. I love compliments. When you look in the mirror, you dress up nice. Yeah. I love staying fly. I go shopping.
He does it for the women.
Basically, that's what I heard
things
too.
that most people probably won't put together.
Shout out to you,
I'm
Eric
gonna put this together. You look at other stuff. I watch TV. Just like I said, I've been to Australia, Germany, China. You see them mix up their styles, and I really like that. And I'm becoming a real fan of fashion.
So who would you say is the best dressed in the NBA when it comes to fashion? I can give you some options if you want.
Yeah,
we got Russ, who's he does a lot. D-Wade, Darrell Wright, who comes here, is a great dresser. A couple of options.
I like D-Wade. D-Wade stay clean and cut. Even when I seen Tristan Thompson dress up like Tristan Thompson fit, nice clean cut.
His jeans are a little tight.
There's a couple other guys. James Harden stay fresh. Russell Westbrook just too
Too outlandish,
a
too
little
out
bit
there,
for
too
me.
out
Like
there.
it's clean. Like I
Dresses
understand
like
he
a
said the trend,
kindergartner.
but not my style.
Hey, he's one of those guys that I feel like he
Making
can get away with
millions,
anything,
though.
but if I wear it,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like.
Like I'm not about to come out with the high pants, look like it's pajama pants, you know? Yeah. Like he
He's a
fresh,
little
like,
too
but
beefy for
You
that.
sure you don't
though.
want to have
Yeah, I
the
don't
pants
think
that
that'll
come
look
like
good.
right here?
like I wouldn't mind, but like I wouldn't have like ice creams on them, like it kind of look like pajama pants or something, like you know, because at first back in the day I'd wear a 7X T-shirt with some baggy jeans, a size
God those
42
times are
on,
over.
and I was 19. You know, so now even I see some of my friends coming with skinny jeans now, but I picked it up way faster because I went overseas in like 2010 and started picking up the the slimmer jeans and stuff. And
All right, so we got Eric Williams. Thanks for coming through. Our
Appreciate it.
fashion man of the week. Come check out the Drew League. That's what we do. Check you guys later.
So, I mean, Josh, DeAnjilo, who is your favorite professional athlete dresser?
I don't have one.
You gotta have one.
Listen,
no?
we've been
No?
through this
Wait a minute.
podcast.
I know.
I-
Josh
How many
undersells his
times do we have to
fashion
go
taste.
through this? I really do not like.
You don't care about
I
that
just
at all.
don't care. I do like the shirt though. Shout out to Bronx native.
Ronnie, do you have a pick?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not like the big sports person, but I've told Josh actually about this. Victor Cruz.
That's
Like,
right.
Okay,
Victor Cruz is
okay,
good.
Victor
not
Cruz
just
is
He's-
nice.
he
though.
is sharp.
style, it's the way he rocks, his attitude,
Yeah.
personality, like the whole thing.
He's
Yeah,
smooth.
he-
That's
I've
a
heard a
good
lot of
one.
people say Victor Cruz.
That's a good one. What about you, DeAnjilo?
I think I like Dwayne Wade's fashion a lot. It's like personable. It's not like too much. I feel like Russell Westbrook's is just I can't wear that.
over
I'm not
there.
even gonna say it's like bad, but
Shout out to Kellyanne, D-Wade's stylist. We love her.
Yes.
What about you,
She's
Jill?
good. So my favorites are, I like Victor Cruz, which you mentioned. He wouldn't be in my top, but I do like the way he puts stuff together. D-Wade, LeBron James. LeBron
He's grown so
is a
much.
very classic grown man sort of style. I like even when he does things that are more fashion forward, it's still in a very tailored mannish way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I know that, we sort of ride the beat now and cross things out. So I like that he does that.
he has a stylist too, or no?
He did at one point. I'm not sure if he still does,
Okay.
but I like the choices that he makes. I like some of what Russ does because I like that he's just himself.
Yeah.
And sometimes I like what James Harden rocks. You can keep Cam. Cam's a little too matchy, Garanimal Prince. Let me put my outfit
Cam and Melo,
together
I
and
feel like,
lay it out.
I feel like Cam and Melo are the same.
Really? I would give
Melo
Melo.
doesn't
Melo
always
go
wears those
I
like
think Melo's-
weird hats.
Melo's more
Melo's-
LeBron.
yeah, I would
Melo's
say he's
more,
LeBron.
I think, like a traditional dresser. I would give him more of a classic dresser. He's not doing anything outlandish.
Yeah.
It's going to be nicely
You see
tailored.
some of the hats he wears?
Draymond needs a stylist.
Yeah, that could work.
He needs a little assistance. He's in the right direction, but he needs a little bit of help. A little bit.
So that's our fashion moment.
Yes.
Since we're talking about the
Shout out to
NBA,
Mel Rompers, by the way.
Shout out to male rompers. We see Ronnie has Cam up there rocking
The
his
only
male
person
romper.
I've seen that look good in
On
Mel
shout
Romper.
out to male rompers.
And to Cam's credit, he rocked that before the romper craze hit Twitter with the
Did he?
pictures. Yes, he
Yeah.
did. He
He was at
rocked that.
Coachella.
at
It was
that-
I was gonna
around
say
the
it's
same
all.
time.
that
It's
was
all,
back in April.
Yeah, it's all about where you take it. Like
Yeah.
that was a venue that allowed that kind of look.
He's
It
also
did. He could have put his flower crown on with
also
it and been very cute.
6'5", 260. So I guess he get to fill it out a little different than most people.
I mean, and that's not always a good thing.
It works out for
But
this
it
one.
worked for
Yeah.
Cam. It worked for him. I wasn't as mad at it as I thought that I would be. But most of you should steer clear of that. Okay.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
All right. Now that we're all agreeing on that, let's talk about NBA free agency. We know that for the most part it's past and it's over. But one thing that has been lingering is Chris Paul's move to the Houston Rockets. CP3 hasn't really given a reason as to why he's changed. It's kind of been left open in the air. There have been rumors. Michael Eaves on ESPN said that part of Chris's deal was that he was upset with how the preferential treatment he felt that Doc Rivers gave his son Austin. He wasn't as hard on other players. Chris has since actually just today wrote an article with the Players
Undefeated,
Tribune.
yeah.
Was it Undefeated? It was Undefeated, okay, where he denied those allegations. I don't think that Chris is being honest. I think that as the president of the NBA Players Association, it's not a good look for him to really express those thoughts. And I think that something had to give, and we know Chris can grade on players. What do you guys think about that? And ultimately, what do you think happens to the Clippers and the Rockets after these moves?
I think it's a compelling question. I think Chris Paul, what is he going to say? I don't like Doc Rivers? Like, he can't say that. Yeah.
I mean, he could.
But
He
there's no positive to that.
Or he could say, well, what he could say is, if true, there were times when I felt like Doc maybe eased up on Austin. or treated him differently than he did from the rest of us. And as a team movement, it didn't feel right, or I mean, because something obviously happened.
Right, definitely. What he did say was like it wasn't who's on the Clippers, it's who's on the Rockets. That's why I wanted to make the move. And I feel like there's nothing more he should say. Like maybe when he retires, he can throw them under the bus, but they're still unemployed right now.
He and James Harden both need the ball in their hands. How's that going to work? Is James Harden just going to be a wing?
Yeah.
All right. I completely believe Chris Paul. Listen, he knows the Clippers reached their ceiling. They're not going to the Western Conference Finals. They might even make the second round from here on out.
Yeah.
Blake Griffin constantly gets injured. Even when he's healthy, they don't really mesh. It's just not working out in Los Angeles. I think he left for a team that could have made the Western Conference Finals last year. I think he likes James Harden. I think he likes D'Antoni's offensive system. Yes, James Harden needs the ball, but he can play off the ball as well. He has played off the ball in his career. It's not like he was always a point guard. Last year was the first year he was a point guard. So you put the ball in Chris Paul's hands. He's the best floor general in the league, and you have Harden run the wing. They're going to be fine. They're going to be okay. I think he just left the Clippers for a better situation. I don't think it has anything to do with Austin Rivers. I think it has nothing to do with Austin Rivers or Doc Rivers. I just think he just went for a better situation.
I still wonder why he picked the Rockets over the Spurs. I don't know. Maybe the Spurs didn't have the weapons to get him in a sign and trade, but I don't really get why. If your goal is to win a championship, why you're picking the Rockets? The Rockets have shown me nothing to say that they can get past the Warriors, even with him on the team.
Maybe he didn't want to deal with as much structure. The Spurs definitely have a Spurs way.
Right.
And,
could be.
Maybe at this point, he wasn't looking for that type of coaching situation also.
Well, how hard did they go after him?
That's the question. That's more of the question.
Then Chris Paul was traded for on top of that. It's not like Chris Paul just decided to go to Houston. He was traded for.
I think that he went to them and was like, "Hey, I'm going to leave."
It wasn't like it wasn't the Clippers that did it. He said, "I'm going to the Rockets."
I'm going to leave. I'm going to the Rockets. You guys want to make a deal so you can not be left with nothing.
No, he picked. That was his decision for sure. It sounds like it.
So real quick, I don't know if you guys saw today, Paul George went to OKC for the welcome. They were outside cheering outside the gates. Are they kind of like that girlfriend that got broken up with or that boyfriend and now they're in a new relationship and they want to make it look like this is the best relationship ever?
That's exactly
so that there's no jealousy happening.
That relationship sucks. They're not going to be anything this year. They're a 4 seed at best.
Did you hear what KD supposedly reached out
the truth. They're not better than Houston, San Antonio, or
those are great fans. That's all that really shows.
I mean,
Thunder. OKC has one of the best fan bases in the country.
That's all that shows.
And that's what KD said. KD said that once you kind of get exposed to those fans and they're the best fans on the planet.
Keep his mouth shut.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Thank you,
DeAnjilo. But here's the thing, though, and you guys have said this. It was maybe a little taxing for him to play with Russell Westbrook.
Yep.
And so
and it will be for Paul George as well.
Yeah.
So you think Paul George ends up with the Lakers anyway after a year?
Yes.
You don't think that
maybe
he can win them over?
maybe even through midseason, because if him and Russell can't click right away, if you're Oklahoma City, you only have Paul George for a year, so you have to get something for him. You're not going to ride out the rest of the season with Paul George if him and Russell Westbrook aren't clicking. So you have to be like, all right, we're going to lose him by the year. You might as well get something for him. You might trade him at the deadline. If him and Russ don't click right away, which I think is a huge possibility because it takes time to play with Russell Westbrook. He's not someone you can just throw into a lineup and then gradually, work your way into being comfortable with him. It's going to take time. It wouldn't surprise me if this fell flat in its face and they're trading Paul George by the deadline.
But here's the thing, though. The Lakers can afford to wait it out, especially under the scenario
But he might be a rental for the Cavs for half a season. He might go from the Thunder to the Cavs for half a season to the Lakers. He might have 3 or if you count the Pacers, he might have 4 teams in a matter of a year.
Oh, wow, okay. That's interesting.
Depending on how him and Westbrook click. And Westbrook is a great individual talent. How he clicks with other teammates, though, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it with Paul George. I'm really not. I don't have as much faith in those people.
Well, Russ will be a free agent as well.
And he hasn't signed his extension yet.
And he won't. Why would he? They might both go to the Lakers, actually.
Come home, Russ. Come home.
After all that crap he was talking about Kevin Durant leaving, though, you're going to leave too?
Maybe.
I think that would just go back to the whole same thing that Chris Paul is doing. There's but a ceiling you can reach with certain teams.
Right, and at some point, a change of scenery can be good for everyone.
The Paul George thing, just from both ends. I mean, Pacers, you only get Victor Oladipo and Domantas Sabonis. You could have got so much more for Paul George.
Could they? I think that's the question. Maybe they couldn't.
Maybe they couldn't because people know that he was going to leave anyway, and he had his sights set on the West.
I forgot what the Celtics offer was, but I know the Celtics offered something that was better. And I don't know. Oladipo he's nice. He averaged 16 points per game for the past 2 years, but what is he really? He's an average shooting guard. He can slash, but he's not going to do much for you. He's not a franchise, player. Domantas Sabonis is, people are kind of down on him. and you're gonna give up your superstar for that. I think they could have done better.
Your superstar that was walking out the door. So I don't really fault them for that.
No, but you could have got. There's other teams that were clamoring for him. I mean, you know the Celtics
they had
wanted him.
But that 1-year rental.
When they didn't want to trade him to Eastern Conference teams, which
I think,
was
and
the
that's
thing.
what DeAngelo's saying. I think
weird.
it's complete. No, I don't think they wanted to trade him to a contender. I
Because
think,
they
They're
didn't want
not
to
going to be a contender anyway. so why make
but
it?
they don't
Out
want
of
to play
spite.
them 4 times a season.
not just
either.
that, but out of spite. When your superstar is leaving you, and you know he's leaving you, and he's announcing that he's leaving you and putting you in this awkward position, why would you put him in the best position possible for him? You want to put him in a situation that's away from you, and then he's not going to thrive in. It's out of spite. I would have done the same thing as a GM. It's
That's
like, all
why
right,
they have
you
no
want to screw me
assets out of
over?
that
I'm
trade.
going to screw you over. I'm going to send you to Oklahoma City, where you're not going to win anything. You're going to be frustrated playing with Russell Westbrook. Enjoy living in Oklahoma for a year.
I think that's what it was because they didn't get any assets out of that trade.
Yeah.
None.
So speaking of next year and the future, Summer League, it's been all the rage. Lonzo Ball had a triple-double after an awful opening game. I think that we're seeing the backlash of LeVar Ball's marketing ploy, which has done numbers. It's got the attention on him, but it also has gotten Lonzo some unfair enemies. We saw DeAnjilo there peeping the crowd out, checking out his replacement, some other things. De'Aaron Fox actually got a little spicy because the Lakers pulled Lonzo for their matchup, said that he had a groin injury. They wanted to be cautious. And people were criticizing him for a Summer League game. Do you guys think that people are being too hard on Lonzo and the expectations are too high?
It's the Summer League.
Leave him alone. Leave Lonzo alone. If you're going to direct any anger, direct it towards LeVar.
But LeVar did not sign with the Lakers dynasty. His son did, and LeVar just put the pressure on his son for such.
Lonzo got drafted by the Lakers. He didn't sign with the Lakers.
Well,
so it wasn't Lonzo's decision.
Verbiage.
Technically, it wasn't Lonzo's decision to be a Laker. I'm sure he wanted to be. That's the team he grew up watching and rooting for. But no, I mean, listen, he's a second pick of the draft, so he does deserve some scrutiny if he doesn't do well. But I mean, the amount that he's getting because of LeVar is crazy. But ESPN's gonna keep showing LeVar because
He's great content.
he's great content.
I really strongly think. I mean, those games are really exciting because Laker fans are going crazy. But the expectations for him need to be subsided. We saw it. His jump shot needs work. Like he's a great facilitator. He's gonna set other people up, but I don't think he's going to be like a Rookie of the Year contender because he won't score enough.
Oh, you don't think he's even going to be a contender
I really
for
think
Rookie
people
of the
need
Year?
to weather their expectations.
Well, some of it is because this rookie class is really effing good.
Yeah.
If you're watching, Dennis Smith is having an amazing summer league. De'Aaron Fox played well. Jason Tatum's playing very well.
Markelle.
Donovan Mitchell had 30-something points today. So, there's a lot of talent in this year's
Markelle,
draft.
Ben Simmons. It goes down. People that will
Ben Simmons
score.
even play.
Right.
There's just different. There's a lot of players that can contribute to their teams right away and need to be. Tatum's having a crazy camp right now. He's not going to be starting though.
So we're about 60 days out from the start of this season. You guys getting excited? Is Summer League getting you amped up? Are you excited as a Knicks fan, Josh?
Yeah, seeing Dennis Smith Jr. score all these points for the Mavericks when we could have had him. I'm so excited. So excited. Carmelo Anthony, trade drama. So excited. KP, not happy with the organization. Oh, I'm so excited. Let's go Knicks.
Tim Hardaway, baby.
Tim Hardaway for $71 million.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Steve Mills. Genius. James Dolan, not having a GM right now, not giving the reins to Griffin when he wanted them. Awesome job, James Dolan. I'm so excited for this season.
You're asking
so
about the
excited
Knicks.
for New
That's
York
what's going to
basketball.
happen.
I love it. I love it. Can't wait to go to the Garden.
Okay, worst
Carmelo
drama
will be gone.
from an owner right now. Knicks or
Knicks.
what the
Knicks.
Cavs have done
Knicks.
by
Knicks.
underbidding as far as
Oh, it's the Knicks.
GMs.
There's no question.
Okay, it's the Knicks. Well, there we go. Last thing really quickly, the big three is rocking, and Coutinho Mobley and Deshaun Stevenson, Coutinho Mobley hasn't played since 2008, said that they could beat some of the Summer League rookies. Thoughts on that as we wrap
I
up?
saw that.
Delusional.
No, I don't think that's delusional at all.
You don't think it's delusional?
No, I don't. Because what the Summer League rookies have is athleticism. What the players have is, well, there won't be as much of an athletic disadvantage because they're playing that one game.
You know they had to drop 10 off of the big league games every week to make the
dropped
games.
10?
Yeah, it was playing till 60. They had to drop it down to 50. So I just want to put that out there. Shout out to Jason Williams. He's gone for the season.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to be on their side.
They're not going to be able to guard them. How are you going to guard a 18, 19 year? You just can't stay in front of them. You're not going to be able to. You're not.
They'll hit it from outside, I guess.
They can shoot.
I think that's what I think will happen, yeah.
I mean, they can still shoot, but if an 18, 19-year-old athletic world talent is guarding you, up and pressuring you as a 40, 50-year-old, you're not going to be able to get by that.
Who's 50?
Who's 50?
Who's 50? I'm joking.
You know what I'm saying.
Look, you don't want to make the big three. The big three is out there saving fans and giving them something to watch.
It's fun to watch, but like Steven Jackson said that.
games.
Steven Jackson was popping all about something, and I'm just like, you guys, listen, you were good while you were in the NBA and in your primes. Your time has passed. Your time has passed.
Embrace playing one game a week for like
and it's fun.
An hour.
It's cool to see these guys again, you know. But like,
get
just
that feeling back.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane like LeVar Ball. Well, we're going to be staying in our lane back here next week for Drew League Week 8. More interviews, more recaps, more Drew Aid. Make sure that you join us here on AfterBuzz Sports. We are so excited for you to be checking us out each week. Make sure you check me out at Stiletto Jill. Josh, where can they find you?
I'm Josh Rodriguez. You can follow me on Twitter, on Instagram at Josh_Rodriguez_. Please take out your phones, go to your app store, go to Anchor. Download Anchor, then follow 10-Minute Drill in the sports section. Me and AJ Kelly do a podcast about sports every day for your listening enjoyment. DeAnjilo, where can they find you?
Guys, thanks for checking us out as always. It's always a pleasure. I'm DeAnjilo. Hit me up on Twitter at DeAnjilo TV and at DeAnjilo on Instagram. That's all I got.
And Ronnie in the booth, say goodbye.
Ronnie!
We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for checking us out.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.